All right, well, so welcome everybody. Got a little bit late start, so we'll move this along. So welcome tonight. We're really happy to be here. My name is Jack Arney, and I'm with the Rotary Club of Roseville. And I have Ray Riehle from the Citrus Heights Rotary Club. He's a past president of that club, and Ray is here tonight with me to present an exciting new focus that we're going to put into place in our district that is going to be leveraged off of the work that Rotary and Toastmasters has already done at the RI level. And we're excited to talk about that tonight and kind of share with you where we've been, where we are, and what we can do to engage Toastmasters and why it's a benefit to Rotary. So with that, I'm going to start going through the presentation. I wanted to just basically let's wait and mute yourself so that we can get through the slides and present the material in a very fluid manner. And if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box and we'll get to those at the end. And I do want to say thank you to Rob Sachs for organizing the Festival of Learning, and for Desiree for selecting the materials and putting on this great sessions. And also Jason, thank you. And Karen, thank you for providing the tech support, even though clearly I needed more than the average person. So I'm a Zoom neophyte. So with that, let's get started. So Ray is here tonight with us, and primarily because Ray is very passionate about Toastmasters. Ray has been a Toastmaster for 15 years. He served in Toastmasters as the equivalent of our AG. So he's seen Toastmasters and their clubs here locally from an AG's perspective in the Sacramento area. And he's also reached the level of advanced Toastmaster Gold, whatever that is.
It's not
It
really
sounds,
important.
it actually sounds really cool to me. So that just means that he's very well versed in the Toastmaster world and is highly skilled in public speaking. And I think he would give a lot of credit to that for his years in Toastmasters. So, and Ray's also been in Rotary for 21 years. So probably no better person in our district and maybe on the West Coast to talk about this, because he blends the two organizations together and has seen it, Toastmasters from a Rotary perspective and vice versa. So with that, we're going to move on, and Ray's going to take over the presentation.
Well, thank you, Jack. Thank you all for being here tonight. And we will move forward. One of the rules of Toastmasters is never apologize for anything that's gone on in your presentation. So I'm not going to apologize for Jack's failures to make me look like I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you for throwing me
under the bus. I appreciate that.
When I when I'm giving a speech, when I'm doing anything in Toastmasters, I start with the end in mind. What am I trying to accomplish in my speech? What am I trying to accomplish when I'm managing a meeting? So you start with the end in mind, and this is a good plan for Rotary. So go ahead, Jack. Rotarians, we need to learn how to run an effective meeting. It's the most important part of your job as a president, is to run effective meetings. And as Rotarians, we need to know how to give a short talk or a longer presentation. We can talk for 2 minutes, or we can have to talk for 10 minutes. With Toastmasters, you will learn how to do both of these things, and it's learning by doing. In a Toastmaster club, you do things all the time, and that's why I think Toastmasters has value, is you learn to do these things by doing them. Rotary and Toastmasters are working together. It's been a long slog, and now they're ready. And then we have a short video to show, we think.
We do. Watch this. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, boy.
Okay. Desiree's clapping.
As you may have heard, Toastmasters International is thrilled to be working with Rotary International and its vast network of clubs and members. Both of our organizations value developing strong communication and leadership skills. These are skills that can have a real impact on a person, both personally and professionally.
And yet, as similar as we are, we also take pride in our unique strengths. For Rotary, our greatest asset is our ability to unite people and take action to create lasting change. Aligning with Toastmasters, I am excited for the new opportunities our members will have to make connections locally and learn new skills.
Our alliance starts at the grassroots level. We encourage Toastmasters to locally engage with Rotary members and seek out mutually beneficial ways to work together. As part of the alliance, Toastmasters is designing a leadership development program for Rotary and Rotaract members. There will be 8 courses that include speech assignments and peer evaluation.
At Rotary, our vision statement says that we strive to make lasting change, not only in communities around the world, but also within ourselves. Working with Toastmasters is an exciting opportunity to reflect inward and find new ways to grow.
Both of our organizations have a track record of transforming lives, though in very different ways. Rotary is dedicated to serving the world through service. Toastmasters is dedicated to serving the world by building a person's communication and leadership competencies. When we put our 2 organizations together, we can make an even bigger impact on the world.
That was a really neat speech, and I would almost enjoy evaluating the way those 2 speakers went through their presentations. The use of body language, the use of vocal variety, the energy, the enthusiasm in the voices, very valuable training tool that we can learn from watching good speakers and then evaluating them and talking about what they did well and what they could have done better. If you go to the Toastmasters International website, you will see this video and you'll see what Toastmasters has for Rotary.
Oops. Come on. There we go. Sorry, guys.
There's a lot of information about how Toastmasters works on the Toastmasters International website. This is valuable just as a place to scan. If you become a Toastmaster, you get more into the website, and all of the training that Toastmasters does now is online. A lot of what what I do is some of the older techniques that are not quite up to speed on the Toastmasters International website, but it's useful. It's a great place to learn how to give speeches. Now, the Rotary website also has this conversation. Toastmasters and Rotary partner to help members grow professionally and make a difference in their communities. And then in fine Toastmaster or Rotary fashion, it goes on, and we will read this.
No, actually, we will not.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on,
we're
Jack.
going to skip the reading part.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can read this yourself and see all the fine detail that Rotary has put into this program. The first section is about 3 pages, 2 pages, and page number 3. But you can go to the Rotary website into the Learning Center. We all have access to the Learning Center, and that's where these programs are. Instead of linking live to the Rotary website and the Learning Center, we've taken a couple of screenshots to talk about the programs, but there are 8 avenues, 8 programs that Rotary has put together, or the Toastmasters has put together for Rotary. The first section is how to develop a speech. This is basically a manual. It's about 40 pages long that teaches you how to develop a speech, and you can go through it on your own. How do you give an inspirational speech? There are different speech techniques. There are different types of speeches, and inspirational speaking is really a part of Rotary. How do you deliver a speech? Now, this would talk a little bit more about your body language, about your vocal variety, about pacing, about sometimes you might want to get your voice really quiet because you get people to lean forward to listen to you. Different techniques for delivering a speech. How do you hold your hands? How do you stand? All of those little elements that make your speaking more effective. Leadership basics. Rotary is all about leadership. Toastmasters has leadership training. In fact, I think the leadership element of Toastmasters is almost more important than the speaking element of Toastmasters. How do you build a team? How do you lead a team? Techniques, checklists on how you do all of these things. Collaboration, techniques for collaboration, how to collaborate with other folks in your club or in other clubs would be a part of this training. Building consensus. How do we get to the end point for doing our projects? And interpersonal communication and networking. These are all things that you get out of Toastmasters, and each one of these is effectively a manual. If you go to the Learning Center, this is the first page you're going to see. I hope all of you have spent a little time at the Learning Center. It talks about how to be a president and a secretary and a treasurer and different elements of Rotary, but it also has these 8 modules. And if you really want to have a good time, you keep going through to the next page. It's more of the programs, but it also shows that these programs have been put into half a dozen other languages. So Rotary International is truly a part of Toastmasters International and the way these programs are being taught and what Rotary and Toastmasters are trying to do around the world. This is a specific program. This is the how to give a speech, and it shows you the checklist of what you're going to learn. And you have a whole lot of pages, a whole lot of different elements to giving a speech, and it can be self-taught. If you go to the next one, it shows you have assignment checklists. These are the checklists that you can use to help you get through giving a speech or organizing your speech. And there's dozens of pages like this all throughout those Toastmaster programs in the Learning Center. The next one. This is the leadership basics, and it shows you again what the different elements are of leadership. And once you open the program, you go through it, it asks you questions, you answer questions, and you learn some of the leadership techniques. And then of course, checklists for goal setting. How do you want to set your goals? I think a lot of us have done this in our various business, personal and professional lives, but it's nice to have a checklist that's made up. And this is especially valuable for newer Rotarians or people who aren't experienced doing these types of leadership exercises. So how do we as Rotarians engage Toastmasters? The point of this is to get engaged with clubs and learn Toastmasters as you can. So how do we have that? A couple of ways to do it. We can hold a demonstration meeting at your Rotary Club. A demonstration meeting will give you the opportunity to see how a Toastmaster meeting works and might encourage people to go visit a Toastmaster club. Shows the value of Toastmasters to Rotarians. And one of the great things about Toastmaster clubs is they almost always like their guests to talk. In fact, they do always like their guests to talk. So if you were to go to a Toastmaster meeting and say you're part of the Rotary Club and you're learning Rotary and Toastmasters, they'd probably let you talk about what your club is doing or what you do or what you think of Rotary, and you may be able to draw members from Toastmasters in to Rotary. If I'm giving a demonstration meeting for a Toastmaster club, I'd like about 30 minutes. 30 minutes would allow me to pretend I'm the Toastmaster, to be the Toastmaster, and describe the roles of Toastmasters in that meeting. And we're going to talk about the roles a little later in the presentation. We would have one speaker who would give a speech. It could be a Toastmaster speech, or it could be any speech at all. We would have a person evaluate that speech So you as a Rotarian could see what an evaluation looks like and how it supports the Toastmaster process. And then we do what's called table topics, which is impromptu speaking, where the table topics master will define a topic and tell you you get to talk about something. Is this where I asked you about ketchup?
No, that's a little further
Okay,
down the way.
further on. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about ketchup
Yeah.
as a table topic.
But you just kind of messed my lineup there, so I may
All
not
right.
do it now.
Okay,
But
well, you
think
don't
should-
have
I think
to.
you should still bring it up.
Okay,
but
I'll bring
yeah.
it up and we'll see what we
Yeah.
can do together.
Yeah.
This is a form that I put together, and I believe it's available for everyone. And this is what Toastmasters does for Rotary. This is a detailed checklist of what we have in Toastmasters and how it can help Rotarians.
We're not going to read this tonight, right?
We're not going to read this one tonight, but we will
Okay.
go through almost every one of those lines because everything in Toastmasters is important.
Yep.
Every role in Toastmasters is important. But we'll get a little background. First, what's the goal of Toastmasters International? You heard the talk at the beginning. Toastmasters empowers individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And I think leadership comes before communication. You need to be a leader in order to be able to communicate, because if you're not leading, what is the point of any communication? Leadership and communication, hand in hand, a part of Toastmasters International. Our district is District 39, and it runs from Reno down to the Central Valley. And there's about 200 clubs in District 39. And we build clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Excellence in terms of doing the things that Toastmaster clubs are supposed to do. I belong to the Sunrise Center Toastmaster Club. And like all clubs, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Now, this is our Sunrise Center Toastmasters mission. We meet at 6:45 at Perco's on Sunrise and Greenback, and we're going back to in-person meetings. But this club mission is consistent with every Toastmaster club I've ever been in. It's always supportive, it's always positive, and we're encouraging and happy to help people get better at leadership and communication.
Hey, Ray, I have a quick question.
Certainly.
Can you scoot over so we can see you? We're only getting 1/8 of you. We'd love to see your face.
Go back.
Sorry for the interruption.
Move the camera, Jack.
I'm moving the camera.
Okay, Jack, I'll be in the camera. All right. Thank you, Sydney. Appreciate that.
Is that better?
Yeah, you can't see Jack now, so it's got to be
You don't want to see
Way
me.
better.
I don't have any hair. I don't shave very often. You don't want to see me.
Thank you, and I do appreciate that real-time feedback because that's how you make things better. Toastmaster values are very consistent with Rotary International values. Teach integrity. So are you going to click still?
Yep.
Respect. Respect is really important because we know that people are coming into Toastmasters a little bit scared of what they're doing. It's one of those great fears people have. So the respect for people who are afraid and being supportive and letting them move forward. Service. Every job in a Toastmaster meeting is a service to the meeting. It's a service to developing leadership. It's a service to the club. So service in terms of internal operations of the club, but also service in helping people become effective communicators. Excellence. We strive for excellence in what we do, and we offer real-time feedback in many ways so that people can achieve excellence. Now, this is the list of things that we do in Toastmasters. This is the page broken down into the different steps. Running a meeting, that's what the Toastmaster does. The Toastmaster job changes week after week after week. In a club of 20 members, you'll be a Toastmaster 2.5 times a year or so. Maybe more often because some people miss and you get more opportunities. but that's running a meeting, and that's everything from soup to nuts in the meeting. You're supposed to make sure you have the speakers lined up, that everybody who is going to serve a role in the club is ready and willing to be there to serve that job, do that job to help the meeting run effectively. Now, typically a meeting is started by a club president. The club president leads off the meeting and then hands it over to the Toastmaster, who at the end of the meeting hands it back over to the club president. In any meeting, there are many tasks. One of the first things we do at a meeting is we give an invocation or inspirational moment and have the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, some clubs choose not to do that. I'll leave that to clubs to decide whether you're going to do invocation, a prayer, inspiration, and the pledge. But these are good things to practice. You want your invocation and inspiration to be effective, but not take up the whole meeting. So you learn how to give an invocation in a reasonable amount of time, and you get comfortable with asking people to stand up and say the pledge. It seems like a small thing, but it's important to practice it and give people the opportunity who have not done this kind of stuff to do it. It's practice, and when they do this well, it makes it easier to do the other things. Greeting and introducing guests. One of the great weaknesses of some of the Rotary clubs I've gone to has been their greeting and introduction. I think we've all been to meetings where everybody's sitting at their table and they don't really engage with us as guests. It's very critical and intentional to greet people as they come in, to introduce them around the room, to show them that they're welcome, because if people are comfortable and welcomed, they're going to come back. Telling a joke. I will not tell a joke right now because I'm not very good at it, but I have learned a couple of things. If you want to tell a joke, don't pick up your phone and read the joke on your phone. Don't pick up a piece of paper and read it off a piece of paper. You want to tell a joke, learn a joke, and give it a story. One of the best ways to tell an effective joke, if you can't do anything else, is memorize the punchline. If you memorize the punchline, frequently you can manage to get through the whole joke if you know what your punchline is going to be. Telling a joke intentionally, not just reading something off of a piece of paper, is an important part of Toastmasters. Again, it only takes a minute, but it can be a lot of fun. And when you do it well, you know you've done it well. We have what we call an educational minute. The educational minute is bringing something of value to the club. Toastmasters has a magazine. It's going to be online now. And sometimes you don't get a chance to read every article. Somebody in the club will read an article and present the article to the club, or they'll discover they saw somebody say something, or they learned something about public speaking, and they give that educational minute. And it is a minute. It's not an educational 3 minutes. It's not an educational 5 minutes. The intention of this is to teach people how to speak for 1 minute, sit down, and let the meeting move forward. The Wizard of Oz. I didn't bring my cricket. I should have, because this is an important part of Toastmasters, because we want to teach people to listen to themselves. Listen to your ahs, ums, likes, you knows, so's, ands. Clicking gives active, immediate feedback, or ringing a bell, whatever the club does. And that teaches people not to use ums, uhs, likes, ahs, so's, and you knows. We want people to be able to speak well without those filler words. Now, when I'm doing this, I'll only click someone 5 times. After you've clicked them 5 times, or after you've rung the bell 5 times, you've made your point. There's no benefit to making somebody completely uncomfortable, just uncomfortable enough that they're aware of their own voice. Timer. A lot of what we do in Toastmasters is timed. we have a speech that is timed. It might be a 5 to 7 minute speech, or 4 to 6, or 8 to 10. The table topics will run 1 to 2 minutes with a 30 seconds on each side to qualify. And then evaluators get 3 minutes. You can count votes. This is just a part to see who won, who was the best speaker. And sometimes it's the person who's the best speaker, but not really. The newer person might give a better speech for their techniques. The grammarian selects the word of the day, and you listen to good and bad grammar and the use of language. The word of the day is used in table topics. The table topics master leads the impromptu part of the meeting. So perhaps we're going to talk condiments, and the table topic for Jack is ketchup.
Yeah. Well, remember we talked about ketchup, right? If they talk about ketchup, you said we're running out of ketchup in the United States. Did you guys know this?
No, I did. Somebody heard
I
about it.
I would say make a run on In-N-Out tonight, because apparently the United States is running out of ketchup. Just FYI.
That'll give you a project for after the meeting.
There was a whole bunch at Walmart today.
So there's toilet paper, but no ketchup. Give a speech. Giving a speech is important, but I don't think it's the most important part of Toastmasters. The speeches are valuable. They are the tie that binds Toastmasters together, but it's really becoming a more effective Rotary leader and communicator, and speeches are just one part of that. The general evaluator evaluates the meeting. There's a lot of evaluation that goes on in Toastmasters, and that tells people what they saw in a meeting that was good, what could have been better, who did their job well, what can be done to make the meeting better. Oops. Evaluating a speech. Everyone who gives a speech will be evaluated. In fact, I probably should have grabbed a Toastmaster to watch this presentation and then at the end give a 3-minute evaluation of the presentation. That would have been an effective tool for explaining what Toastmasters is.
I'm not sure my ego could have taken that though.
Yeah, mine can. It's been beat enough. Evaluations are real-time responses to a speech, and it tells you what you did well and what you could do better. It's criticism, but not in a critical manner. Short, effective reports. Everyone who has a task will give a short report. Wizard of Oz, timer, vote counter, grammarian, all of them practice talking for about a minute about what they saw in the meeting. And then you learn to adjourn the meeting. We all love meetings to be adjourned, and that's an important element of Toastmasters. With Toastmaster training, you'll overcome your fear of public speaking or standing in front of a group of people. But that doesn't mean you're not going to be afraid. Before this meeting started, I had butterflies, as I usually do, and my hands, for some reason, get sweaty and numb before every time I talk, no matter what I'm doing. And I've been doing this for a long time. I know that it's going to be okay once I get started, but at the beginning, everybody's uncomfortable, and that's okay. Create and follow an agenda. Every meeting, everything that you're doing should have an agenda so you can stay on time and stay on message. Develop a sense of timing to help you keep your meetings on track. If you start learning what 1 minute is for talking, then you can learn to shut up after a minute and let the meeting move forward. Learn to organize and deliver a speech. We've already talked a little bit about that. Learn how to organize your thoughts and give effective and timely responses. So table topics or evaluators learn to put together their thoughts in a relatively short amount of time and then give their presentation and make it effective. It's just like fielding round balls. If you field enough of them, you're going to be good at it. If you practice organizing timely responses, you'll be good at it. Evaluation, develop a stage presence, improve the quality of your speech, practice vocal variety, high pitch, low pitch, faster, slower, using your hands, not losing your hands. On this, you don't want your hands moving very much because they track so poorly. So if you're going to do it on Zoom, move your hands a little more slowly, and then you can be expressive with your hands. Learn to how to tell people to stop talking. How many of you have wanted to tell somebody to shut up in a Rotary meeting? The reason Toastmasters and Rotary work is because if you are a Toastmaster, if you've taken even a modest amount of Toastmaster training, you'll make Rotary look good because your meetings will be fun, timely, and effective. And that's what we're looking for. District 5180, these are all locations of Rotary clubs in the
Right.
district.
So that's our map.
That's our map. And then you can look at a map of, I thought I had a map. Anyhow, there's a list of 200 Toastmaster clubs in the area. If you put in your street address on the Toastmaster Find a Club website, I expect within 5 miles, you're going to find 10 clubs. And they meet mornings, noons, nights, some once a month, some every other week, some every week. If you want to build Rotary in yourself, visit the Rotary. There are three things there's 3 calls to action now. This is the point of this whole session. Visit the Rotary Learning Center if you want to become a better speaker. Go through the Toastmaster program on the Learning Center. That's one thing that you can do. The second is reach out to a local Toastmaster club, attend a handful of meetings, and perhaps invite them to come to your Rotary club. Go for a couple of months and you'll be a better speaker, a better leader. The third option is something that we're going to be putting on after the Festival of Learning starting in May. Will be about 6 sessions of training where we'll go through some of the techniques, some of the manuals, and I'll talk to you as much as I can about what I've learned and let you give speeches, let you evaluate each other, and do some table topics and have fun with learning about Toastmasters.
Yeah. And with that, we wanted to start to wrap up. We've provided some contact info if you're interested in being part of the training session. I know you can't see me right now, so I'm off camera, but I'm not the talent here, so I'm just keeping things together. So here's what I'm thinking. We've got, so just so you know, right now we have committed, Desiree is committed to joining this training session. Angela Spees is committed to joining this training session. Rich Hale from Citrus Heights is committed to joining this session. Our DGD, Sydney Smith, has committed to joining this training session, and so has our DGN, Karen Sendro. So, and I will be there and as a participant, and Ray will be leading the class. So I think we want to start with people in the district who are in leadership to kick the training off. And I think that, you see, one of the things that I noticed when I went to the 2 Toastmasters meetings that I went to was they run very similarly to Rotary. So it was very comfortable almost from the get-go in terms of being a Rotarian and joining their meetings. But the techniques and the skills that you get to hone while being part of Toastmasters, think about all of the presidents that have run clubs and club meetings you've been to, and think about how much better that meeting would have been if they had had this training. And think about the impression that that would have given guests and members who were there in terms of their fun and the effectiveness of the meeting if that leader who was up at the podium each week had these skills. I mean, forget about, just for the second, of all the potential Rotarians who could benefit from this in their Rotary lives, but also in their professional life. But think about, if we had our presidents going through this kind of training, how good our meetings would be and how much it would enhance membership in Rotary by having these skills on how to run a really effective meeting and have the presence to draw you in while you're in the meeting. I just think it's essential in terms of that. So the training is really important. So we want to do that here in Rotary for those that are Rotarians, to get their appetite whet for this, learn some skills and bring some people in, and then encourage people to branch out and start to do some things with the local Toastmasters Club. So if you want to be part of this, contact Ray or myself. I'd say Ray first, since he's going to be running it. There's his email address. and his cell phone number. And Ray, did you want to add anything else?
No, we got a couple of minutes. If there are
Yeah.
any questions.
You guys got
that
questions?
People want to ask, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I have a question, Jack.
Yeah.
It's a great presentation, Ray. Appreciate this. I'm curious though. You have a lot of clubs, and I can see how it would benefit a speaker or leader in Rotary. What's the catch for our Toastmaster? Since you're in both, can you talk to what the benefit is for a person that is a Toastmaster and not necessarily a Rotarian?
So my guess would be that Toastmasters should be reaching out to all service organizations the same way they're reaching out to Rotary. And if you talk to 10 people and get 10 people to attend a couple of Toastmaster meetings and see what it's all about, Toastmasters is going to pick up a few new members, long-term members, that's going to make Toastmasters a better organization. It's also going to show that Toastmasters and Rotary are really good organizations, and we should be talking to each other. And Toastmasters doesn't run service projects. It doesn't run big international projects on how to make water safe, but it does teach people to communicate. And I think that the positives of having Toastmasters get Rotarians to come and talk about the things they've done around the world would be great for any Toastmaster club. And then the 1 or 2 out of 10 who become members for 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months is enough to become an effective speaker. So the benefit to Toastmasters is members. The benefit to Rotary is you have an untapped source of people who will buy tickets and come to your events, and you can extort money from Toastmasters.
Yeah. And my perspective on it too is the same, but a little bit, I want to add one more thing, Sydney, is that I think in today's world, the expectation from nearly everybody now is our leaders are servant leaders, right? And Rotary provides that environment of real hands-on leadership, not only in the community, but at the club level. Now, they do service internally at Toastmasters and they have leadership roles, but we provide the hands-on opportunities to really lead and be servant leaders. And I think if I'm a Toastmaster and I want to enhance my leadership skills, that as a leader, the education and the training is great, but your heart's got to be in it as well. And Rotary gives you the heart. And I think the marriage of those two things is what really, really creates the great leaders that we have in our site. So I think that, to me, that's the value for a Toastmaster to become a Rotarian.
And as much as I like what the Learning Center has, I don't think it's sufficient because it doesn't include enough hands-on training and meeting time. And I think it's in the meetings that you really gain the insights on how to be an effective leader.
Anything from the chat box?
Well, I just wanted to add something to echo what Jack just said. Getting the word out to our club members, because we do have a lot of great leaders in our clubs and would be great presidents, even at the district level. But people have to get that over that fear, what Ray and Jack have been talking all night about, getting up in front of a group and speaking and learning how to speak well. So this is what I'm really excited about Toastmasters, getting those members to Toastmasters that would get over that hurdle to lead our clubs and at a district level too. So
that is another side benefit, right? Is that we might increase the pipeline of presidents because we might be able to get some of those people over that hump.
That's what I'm excited about, is getting those people educated and to speak well. Even though before I became president of Citrus Heights in 12-13, if it wasn't for Toastmasters, I would have never made it. Now, do I need to go back and learn some more? Yes, definitely.
Ray says yes, Rich.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. But be honestly,
I don't know why he's doing that to you, because you speak great as far as I'm concerned, but he's over here shaking his head yes.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for Toastmasters, I would have never made it. So it's a great tool, and I'm very excited that the district has partnered up with Toastmasters.
I
I have
think,
a question. Oh, sorry, Karen. I have a question, and that is, talk about that program again and how long it goes and what it will entail.
Well, the program that we'll be putting together will be a 6-week program. It'll be very much a Toastmaster meeting where we'll have 3 speakers, we'll have 3 evaluators, we'll do some table topics, and we'll give you a taste of Toastmasters. And that will include, I'll be there. I've got several friends who are Toastmasters who will be happy to come to the first couple of meetings and help be evaluators and help the meeting move forward, so you're not listening to me the whole time. And it'll be a chance to see what Toastmasters is like. And if you enjoy it, then you can find a Toastmaster club to go to, or we can arrange an ongoing Toastmaster club for Rotary
Rotarians.
District 5180.
Yeah.
That's a big step, and I'm not inclined to want to do that yet. I just want to see what you all say after you've been through 6 weeks. If you've been through it 6 weeks and you think it has value, we'll figure out a way to make it a broader program for the district.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Are
guys,
you thinking
you know-
about once a week meeting?
The plan is to do it once a week for about 6 weeks.
Last year when we had live pets, I sat back and I watched those 8 district governor-elects up on the podium and on the stage, and just, they had such poise in their ability to speak. And I watched Desiree now and what she's going through in the poise and everything. I'm scared to death because I'm a dork, and you know that, Jack. And
You're an awesome dork, though.
this is it, you know, and I used to speak all the time, and I don't know if I would call it butterflies, but I would get that excitement in me. But
Yeah.
anyway, I wanted to let you guys know there's a woman by the name of, she's an area governor for Toastmasters down in Elk Grove. Her name is Melanie Stark, and she will be joining my club, Laguna Sunrise. And so I'm very excited to have her, and I am joining her Tuesday night Elk Grove Toastmasters.
Yeah, that's
Great.
That's terrific. Yep.
Well, I think we've used up everybody's time. Unless there's a burning question for tonight, I'd like to call this done. You have my phone number. I'm happy to talk to you most anytime. Send an email. We'll set a time to talk. Thank you.
How will you communicate when the 6 weeks class is going to be?
I will have something posted, and everybody who attends these programs, I presume we have the emails of everyone who's attended here.
Yep.
Yes.
So once we'll send out an email with a schedule and a location, whether it's going to be live or Zoom, and that'll come after the festival learning is done. I don't want to interfere with the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we were thinking about putting it on the district website with with Brent and Desiree's permission, putting it out on our Facebook page, and kind of getting on all the different platforms to make sure we capture as many people as possible.
Thank you guys for doing that. Good job.
All right.
Thank you all.
Have a good evening.